let us all do we can to build a better future. It turns out Nancy and all the House Democrats are coming back to the House after their long, hard-earned vacation. And it turns out now she's just struggling to get a unified Democratic vote for the $3.5 trillion budget package. So moderates and Democrats are going at each other's throats. So let's, I got 3 videos from Case Study QB. Let's play this first one. It's a few short seconds, but let's go ahead and play it.
A coalition of progressive groups has a new ad campaign out today targeting these 9 moderate Democrats, led by Congressman Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey, accusing them of obstructing President Biden and his agenda. Of course, here, this is a high-stakes standoff between the progressive and moderate wings of the Democratic Party with huge consequences for President Biden's agenda. Democrats hope to run on the infrastructure bill and this reconciliation bill, which would include major investments in health care and child care, mitigating climate change, raising taxes on upper earners and corporations to get it done. They want to run on this in the 2022 midterm elections to tell voters, please keep us in power for another 2 years. But of course, they have to pass it first. And Speaker Pelosi is probably going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to get all members of the House except 3 Democrats, which is her margin for error, Chris.
Well, let's see.
A coalition of progressive
okay,
groups.
Let's pause it right there. So again, corporate media is talking about the struggles that good old Nancy's going to have to be dealing with. But there's another video too. Let's go ahead and as we again, I want to remind you all that it's the Democrats or the moderate Democrats that are causing the most headaches. You know, people who would probably be most in line to Speaker of the House, Nancy, Ice Cream Nancy Pelosi. So let's find out who these people are. Let's play this video again. Shout out to Case Study QB. Be sure to follow him on Twitter.
What is your response to this, and how do you see this playing out this week when the House tries to pass the budget resolution? Do you think it will pass?
I do, Alex, but I do not understand what these 9 members are up to. I mean, they are obstructing this president's agenda. This would be a slap in the face to the president to vote no on just moving forward with the negotiation. Look, everyone has to compromise in Congress. I want Medicare for all. That's not in the bill. I want free public college. That's not in the bill.
Why don't you fight for it?
Forgiveness for working families. That's not in the bill. Guess what? You know whose bill it is? President Joe Biden. Last I understood, he won election as president. The Democratic Party needs to unify around his agenda to help people. And anyone who votes no on this is sabotaging Joe Biden and sabotaging the Democratic Party's agenda.
One more. What is your response?
Let's go ahead and pause this here again. So, you know, here's the thing. The $3.5 trillion. There's been a lot of people on corporate media, of course, the GOP establishment, have been saying that, oh, this $3.5 trillion for this infrastructure package, it's just too much. There's too much in it. But as we listened to Ro Khanna, he said, hey, look, what I want is an honor too. Why don't you fight for it then? But for some reason, that $3.5 trillion is just so terrible to a lot of these people in power, to the corporate media establishment, to the political party establishment. And the thing is, these 9 Democrats, these moderate Democrats, these are the ones that are challenging Nancy and this wonderful little bill, Ice Cream Nancy. But the thing is that it's not good enough. So what is happening? What is going on in the mindset with these lawmakers to where they think that this is just acceptable to do? The thing is, we're not getting bailed out at all. But this package, this oh-so package that everyone's causing so much drama about, does really nothing for us. And after their 6-week vacation, in the package, there's nothing there for us. So there's another video I want to bring up. And again, here you're going to have a wonderful pundit talking about how he wants it to fail. And then we're going to hear another Democratic lawmaker who's in the House who's just going to struggle and swing at trying to defend this $3.5 trillion. Now, look, it should be higher. But again, you're going to listen to this propaganda coming from one corporate media pundit who's saying that, oh, no, I don't want to see it succeed at all. Let's play it.
I don't know. I shouldn't probably say this, Congressman, but I was reading it and I was like, oh, God, I hope you guys have, you know, have some intestinal fortitude. But, you know, then I said, nah, that won't last for very long. Can you allay my, I guess I think $3.5 trillion, you know, I'll just be honest. I think that's just a nightmarish scenario to have that come under budget reconciliation for this country. So anything that would stop that, I'd probably say Godspeed, but what should I think?
Well, first, thanks for having me. It's good to see you. Before we get to reconciliation, which is the $3.5 trillion that you're talking about that's been proposed, first, just to give to set the table here, what we're really focused on, our group is getting done the infrastructure package. That was bipartisan, if you remember, passed out of the Senate a few weeks ago. Historic, largest in a century. That's roads, bridges, rail, water infrastructure, broadband, help to fight climate change, electric vehicles and resiliency, get the Gateway Tunnel built. So a very, very strong package that actually came out of the Senate with 50 Democratic votes and 19 Republican votes, so included Bernie Sanders and Mitch McConnell. All we've said as a group is, let's make sure that we vote on that first, that we actually get that vote now in the House of Representatives, which is what we're calling for. And then we can move on to debate, as you're talking about, debate reconciliation and what should be included in there, what should the size and scope be, looking at revenue raisers, making sure things like SALT are in there, which are obviously important to me, other things to help hearing and dental and vision and childcare and universal pre-K, so priorities like that. But some of my colleagues are saying, no, let's actually wait and not vote on infrastructure for months. Let's finish that next package, the $3.5 trillion package. And if we like what we see in that package, then we'll consider voting for infrastructure. And this is a huge win for the country, this physical infrastructure package, as I said. And all we've said is let's vote on that first. Then we can move on to other things. Let's not hold it hostage like some of my colleagues want to do for months on end and even say that they may never vote for it. So that's really what this difference is about. And I'm optimistic we hopefully can work through that and get this all done, the physical infrastructure package done this week.
Okay, so I just want to remind everyone, when we've talked about this package, this budget for the infrastructure bill, at the bare minimum, it has to be $10 trillion. At the bare minimum, our infrastructure is falling apart. And yet here we again see that we know how the Republican Party is going to vote. We know what they're going to do. They never promised to fight for progressive issues and progressive policies, but yet you see these Democrats, including these moderate, centrist, pragmatic Democrats, use these progressive talking points of Medicare for all or how, oh no, we got to stop the GOP. But when it comes down to fighting for us, they're the ones who are causing the most trouble. They're infighting again, and Nancy Pelosi seems to be struggling, or either that doesn't care at all, putting up a failing attempt to try and have a unified vote. Daniel, your thoughts?
So, yeah, I think that it's a very pathetic situation, but not something that we have not expected at all. By the way, to the guy on Money News was saying, "Well, convince me, blah blah blah. It's bad 3.5." Where were you when voting for the Iraq War happened, and how much that's going to cost in interest at $6.5 trillion? Where were you with the Iraq War? Where were you when we built the F-35, a project that cost nearly as much as the war in Afghanistan? Where were you with all these, like, building additional aircraft carriers? Where were you when any of this, where were you when the big tax cut for the rich happened? All of these are around the same cost as a human infrastructure bill, which I think is a little bit clever, just that the idea of classifying this way, because ironically, we're not going to get more money really in infrastructure. I mean, yeah, a little bit, but they're really giving like humanitarian stuff to Americans, like the stuff that we were saying we were giving to Afghans all the time. So I would first say that the guy who's complaining that we're spending $3.5 trillion, eat a dick. You know you don't mean it. You know you're just saying it to make your side you don't care about this bill. You don't care about it at all. You just hear helping regular Americans and go, I can't have that. I'm rich. I'm worth a lot of money. Why do I care about putting my tax dollars in that? You're fine putting it in war. And then, of course, you have the congressman who's barely saying anything, barely making words. And then, of course, you have Cinema on all this, who was all about, oh, we got to do what Biden says. We can't go against Biden. Except now, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? It's as if she's just doing it for herself. It's as if all of these people are just obstructing for themselves and going, no, you're obstructing. When a half-decent bill comes along that would actually help a lot of Americans, and it seems like the only concession that Bernie has been asking for this entire time. And Nancy Pelosi is basically like, I don't know. How do I get these people to do what I need to happen? I don't get. These people are playing with people's lives. If you vote no on a bill that's with human infrastructure such as this, even if it is watered down as it is in America today, you're killing people. Every person who votes against this bill and stops it from passing is killing thousands of Americans. Every senator or congressperson that votes against this bill that's in the same party. I know Republicans, because again, party over anything at this point in time. It doesn't matter whether the bill's good or not. It matters what party you're on, how you're perceived. If the 9 stand against this, they are individually responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people.
I also want to add in, too, that this isn't the first time the Democrats and Speaker Nancy Pelosi failed us. Remember, a few weeks ago, they failed to extend the eviction moratorium. And they went on vacation. And now here they are coming back from vacation, and they're still not fighting for us. This is evidence to me that we need to do more protests, more activist organizations. We have to vote third party, start understanding the rules and regulations of your state's laws so that we can actually have strong ballot initiatives, because now it's up to the people to lead. Because look at our leaders in Washington, D.C. We know what the GOP is going to do. Jimmy Dore has said it in our interview about what the GOP is. They're low-hanging fruit. We already know what the Republican establishment is going to do. They didn't make these promises, but the DNC is making these promises and giving us fear pornography about the GOP and Trump. After Obama came Trump. I dread to think what's going to come after Biden. Maybe Trump will win again in 2024. Maybe he'll run again. Who knows what's going to happen? The point is that I'm tired of this two-party system where nothing fundamentally changes.